If your newborn sleep feels unpredictable, this is why. Hello, I'm Dr. Skitsy, pediatric nurse practitioner and mom, and I help parents in the early days simplify newborn care so it feels less overwhelming. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how newborn sleep works so that you can better understand what you're seeing at home. Let's start with newborn sleep cycles. Newborn sleep cycles are very short. They usually last between 40 to 60 minutes. They also spend a longer or a lot of their time in lighter sleep. So once they reach the end of that cycle, this is why they wake up more easily. So at home, this might look more like you get your baby to sleep, you lay them down, and 20 to 30 minutes later, they're awake. So while we're talking about short sleep cycles and lighter sleep, let's talk about why newborns wake up so easily. Newborns are very sensitive or more sensitive to noise, movement, and any changes in the environment around them. So even the slightest change, like when you try to put them down to sleep, can wake them up more easily. So at home, this looks like you get them to sleep and you lay them down and they immediately wake up because there's been movement, change in their environment. And sometimes it can also be a little noisy when you lay them down. Day night confusion. So the reason why day night confusion is a thing is because your baby's internal clock is still developing. So when they're first born, they do not know their days from their nights. At home, this looks like your baby being asleep a lot during the day and having a lot of awake time at night. So, things that you can do to kind of help get your baby's rhythm and internal clock together is during the day, keep it bright in the rooms, open up the blinds, let the sunlight in. And then at night, keep it more, dark in the rooms and calm so that your baby kind of eases into sleep. So, if you're wondering how much your newborn should sleep, let's talk about that next. On average, newborns sleep between 14 to 17 hours in a 24-hour period. But this amount of sleep is broken up into small stretches of time. So, some babies sleep a little bit more, some sleep a little bit less. It's not really about a schedule, but they should have a more predictable pattern after some time. There's a wide range of what normal newborn sleep looks like. So let's talk about signs that your newborn is overtired. So, overtired doesn't always look like your baby is sleepy. Sometimes your baby can look more alert. If your baby is more, or you might notice your baby being more fussy, more like jerky movement. Sometimes you might even see them like arching, things like that, or just really, really difficult to settle. These are all signs of your newborn being overtired. When your baby is overtired, you might also notice that it is harder for them to fall asleep and stay asleep. Things that you can do to help when your baby is overtired is they tend to settle better when they're comfortable, gently contained, and not overstimulated. So, simplifying your sleep routine can help when your baby can help and also prevent your baby from becoming overtired. So, at home, this can look like you fed them, you've changed them, you've held them, and they're still fussy, overtired. So, overtired can actually look awake and not sleepy. So, why do babies sleep so much better when we're holding them as opposed to when we lay them down? Let's talk about that. Being close to you helps your baby to feel secure and regulated. You're their safe space. So, your warmth, your touch, your movements all help them to settle more easily. You can hold them as much as you want. Just make sure that you are awake and aware when you're holding them. So when you put them down, they actually lose that warmth, that security, that containment because there's no longer any boundaries. So that is why you can create some of that feeling by having your baby gently contained and comfortable. So this is where using a swaddle or a swaddle sleep sack helps recreate some of that feeling of warmth and containment. And just remember, they're not used to being on their own yet. So this is perfectly normal for them to want to be held, sleep better, deeper, and longer when they're being held. When you get a better understanding of how newborn sleep works, it can feel a little less unpredictable. Often it's not about doing more, it's about simplifying things. Newborn sleep made simple.